We are going to use the partial sums addition method to help us to add 3-digit by 3-digit numbers. Now, before we begin, it's very important that we review our place value for each of these digits. So the 6 and the 7 here are in our ones place. This means that this is 6 ones and 7 ones. Here in our tens place, we have a 3 and a 5, which actually mean 30 and 50. And in our hundreds place, we have a 1 and a 2, which actually means 100 and 200. Now, before adding using the partial sums addition method, we're going to estimate what our sum should be to make sure that our answer is pretty close. So on the right here, you'll see that these are open number lines. They're going to help us round our answers to help us to add. So 136. Looking on the number line, 136 is about here, which means it's closer to 140 than 130. So we are going to start with 140 as our estimate. And then we have 257. 257 is pretty close to 260. 257. So we're going to use 260 to help us add really quickly, easy numbers. So 140 plus 260 is about 400. So our answer needs to be about 400 in order for us to know that we did it correctly. Okay, now let's move on to our partial sums addition method. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to add our hundreds. So the digits in our hundreds, we have a 100 and a 200. So we're going to add that first. So 100 plus 200 is 300. Next, we're going to add the digits in the tens place. So we have 30 and 50. So we're going to add 30 plus 50, which is equal to 80. The last place value that we're going to add is 6 and 7. We're going to add 6 plus 7, which equals 13. Once we have our partial sums, we're going to add up each of our partial sums to get our total. So 0 plus 3 is 3, 8 plus 1 is 9, and then we have 3. So the answer to this problem is 393. When we look over to our estimate, we want to make sure that it's pretty close. And 393 is pretty close to 400, so we know we did that problem correctly. Let's try one more using the partial sums addition method. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to estimate to make sure that we know about where our sum should be. So 559, if I look at my number line here, it's pretty close to 560. So we'll put 559 there and round it to 560. Now, next we have 386, which is closer to 390 than 380. So we'll round that to 390. All right, let's add that up so that we know what our answer should be near. So 560 plus 390, that is about 950. So our answer needs to be at about 950. All right, so let's go to our partial sums addition method. We're going to start by adding the digits in our hundreds place. So we have our 5 and our 3, which means 500 plus 300. So we're going to start with 500 plus 300, which equals 800. Now we're going to move on to our tens. We have 50 plus 80. So 50 plus 80 is 130. Next, we're going to move on to our ones. We have 9 plus 6, which equals 15. Now that our numbers are lined up, now we can add them down. Each of our partial sums is there. So we have 0 plus 5, which is 5, 3 plus 1, which is 4, and 8 plus 1, which is 9. Then we're going to check in with our estimate. Is 945 pretty close to 950? It sure is, so we know that we did our answer correctly.